Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jae Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're thrilled to have Jason Jimenez, the principal of Redstone Business Holdings and the driving force behind landing big whales. Jason's a serial entrepreneur who's built and exited multiple companies, like an insurance agency at 21 and erosion control systems with a six-figure return, while now focusing on landing big whales to help B2B service providers land big clients through his innovative spiderweb effect methodology. He's here to share how he manages his ventures under Redstone Business Holdings and his vision for scaling landing big whales. So let's dive right in. Jason, welcome to Founders Future.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. It's an honor. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Appreciate you taking some time and speaking to me about everything you got going on. I know you're a busy man. So let's start at the very top for our listeners here, Jason. Take us back to the beginning, right? What specific problem in the business development landscape, perhaps around, again, landing those big clients or building effective networks, inspired you to start landing big whales?
The organization started really on the social audio app called Clubhouse during the pandemic. I just happened to have joined the app because a friend of mine said, "Hey, you need to check it out." Didn't think twice about it. He called me about 2 weeks later, says, "Have you got on?" And I said, "No." And so he said, "You need to get on it." I got on I want to say it was about 7 p.m., 5 to 7 p.m., somewhere on that. I didn't get off until the next morning, until 4 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
It was because I landed on a community of individuals that were speaking a language that I just have a passion for, which is entrepreneurship and business. And I met people from all around the world. And it was a community of people that were searching for the connection, the ability to want to learn about business, community, entrepreneurship, marketing, operations, culture, change management, all of the fundamentals that businesses have. And one thing led after another. And at that time, the pandemic, you couldn't really go anywhere. So
Right.
We were looking for escapes, and the social audio app gave a platform for that. And it was an environment in which we grew a community. Somebody said, "Hey, let's start a club," which we did. We started a club called Landing Big Wells. We just came out with the name because of a gentleman by the name of Coach Ron Tunick, which was a mentor. He is a mentor of mine. And he basically said, "Hey, look, I want to start a community with you that is servicing individuals that were in search of a path so that we could share with them, with other successful individuals that have experienced trials and tribulations, to talk about it, and for others to basically talk about the problems and issues that they're having, and then giving advice through a trusted environment to solve and create solutions." And that created a club, which grew to about over 10,000. And then which is probably within a span of about a year or so. And then from there, someone said, "Jason, you talk about these processes, these procedures, these methodologies. You should really formalize this." And a year later, I basically took my methodology and process of how I have created, founded, sold, invested in businesses, and I developed the spiderweb effect, which is something what I've always called it. And we trademarked it, we copyrighted it, and as of today, we are now a global organization that services members that are within the US, Canada, and India. And we have visitors that come in from all around. And our job and our mission is to basically change lives, businesses transformed, and legacies lived. And the reason why that's connected and why it's imperative for us is because our experiences of our successes and failures give us wisdom. If I'm able to share that with someone who's experiencing something negative or something that is difficult, because I've already been there, that's where the changing of lives comes in, because we give to each other. The businesses transform comes from the perspective that if I were to apply the things that I take in and I believe and I want to believe into, and I apply it, it gives the ability for for businesses to be transformed in a way where that's never been before because they didn't see that as a possibility until then. The legacies live is simply because I started a business for a purpose, for a cause, for a mission. Well, a lot of it is based around the perspective that I do it because I want to leave a legacy for, you name it, for whatever that is for you. And for that, that's how LBW and Landing Big Wells was created.
Love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, you've done so much. I mean, we could sit here for hours and I could pick your brain on that. Obviously, we don't have that much time, but I would love for you to walk us through here, Jason, of how the offer for Landing Big Wells has evolved thus far. So what you provide and who you serve, how's that changed since you first started?
Yeah, so I can tell you that the world of networking, I will tell you that people have different positive or negative connotations to it. And the biggest part that we have identified as a change in which has completely resonated was the difference between what does networking truly mean to someone? Because some people will say, "Ugh, I already network. I already have enough networking groups. I'm good with people. I don't need any more friends." But the problem is that networking is just literally one letter away from not working, right? So people view it as a job. They view it as I have to do it. But then they do it in this approach where they just meet people without intentionality.
Mm.
Our mission and our intention is changing it on its coin and saying what we are is we are a business development engine in which if you were to view me as your business development rep, how would you talk to me? What would you teach me? What tools would you provide to me so that I am empowered to create opportunities for you? And last but not least, how would you make me accountable? Simply because you viewed me as your business development rep. And if we did that for each other in a structured environment based on five principles. Number one, we have to sell to the same client. Because if we don't, then how are we going to refer? How are we going to create for each other? Number two, we both have to have influence. And influence gives you an insight through proper questioning. Does a person have respect from their clients? Are they sought after from their clients? Will they listen from their clients? Will they guide them? And without influence, it's hard to refer. It's hard to create. It's hard to really integrate. Number three, we both have to be very good at our trade. If you're not in the top 1%, 10%, 20%, whatever your standard is, ultimately what ends up happening is you get less quality referrals, less quality clients, more headaches. And the better you have dealing with a person who has gone through their successes, gone through their failures, they've all created an equilibrium of process of being able to streamline and effectively use their time, make more money, and or save money. Those are the people we want to deal with. Why? Simply because it's intentional. Number four, it's because we want to look for individuals that have a giving heart. They have a purpose and cause that they gravitate to in their communities. When you end up finding people that are just good humans, what ends up happening is you find that if someone does something well and kind to you, you will reciprocate that. You create a community. It matters with who you have in your life. And number five, it's because we both have an existing network. If your network was a network of 10 and mine was a network of 10, and we wanted to do business because all of the four others applied, we could do it. It's just going to take a long time. So imagine if you already had an existing network of a couple hundreds of thousands of individuals, and we mutually were able to grow from that. We could do anything from that. We can exponentially grow. So our model is very intentional, very specific, very systematic and process driven so that people don't have to worry about their next job.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I mean, incredible stuff there. So, I mean, let's get right into the nuts and bolts, right? So, kind of really piggybacking off what you just mentioned. So, how is Landing Big Wells really generating revenue today? For our listeners, a bit more deeper of a dive, right? What's the core offer for your client? How is it structured for your client?
Yeah. So our client is the actual individual of individuals that we call our top 12. So if you take a piece of paper and you put your ideal client as an example, in the middle of the paper, and you ask yourself, number one, what are the top three characteristics, as an example, of what makes that person your ideal client? For example, it could be, I'm looking for clients between 1 million to 150 million, or 1 to 75 million, whatever the characteristics. I'm looking for companies that are in the 10 employees and above, as an example. Whatever that may be for you. That's step one.
Yeah.
And so what we're providing is providing a guidance for our members to identify who and get clarity on who they really want to talk to. Because then step two is this: who are the top 12 industries that are already selling to them? There's a difference between you sending me a client that has a need for my services. That's just a one-time thing. What if you happen to be an industry that is consistently ongoing selling to them? That's a different paradigm. Why? Because our relationship ends up being in perpetuity. I should be subject to performance, subject to the fact that I follow through, subject to the fact that I make you look good. I should be part of your ecosystem, a part of your client journey, where you're always sticking me in there because I'll make you look good. I retain your clients. I make you more money. And in turn, I end up getting consistent referrals throughout the year. So our methodology is, hey, I'm looking for my client that sells this or has this need. No, what we look for is we look for clients who are solving solutions for problems and issues that I solve on a consistent basis.
Beautiful. So what does that look like, as you just mentioned, now that you said that you have a lot of success with referrals? Of course, it really seems like a relationship-based business that you're in and what you're doing. So referrals is a big thing. Are you guys running ads? Are you guys doing anything around that? What does that acquisition side look like for you guys?
Yeah. So we have two models here. We have a model that is directly driven to individual entrepreneurs that are looking to lead chapters, and then teaching them how to build their own ecosystem. So those 12 individual industries that sell to your ideal client, those are the people we actually invite to be part of the chapters, so that everyone, subject to the fact that they put themselves first, or they put the person across from them first, what ends up happening is it's no different than a relationship. My wife, your spouse, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever the case may be. The moment you put them first, and if they apply the same principle, what problems would you ever have? The same goes for business. If I'm able to work with you because you are an industry that sells to my same ideal client, and we're both looking out for each other because you taught me how to sell you, you gave me the ammunition to sell you, then what ends up happening is we create an ecosystem where we meet on a regular basis. So our community members meet on a weekly basis, so that we're able to teach, implement, practice good habits, so that when we're out there in the real world talking to clients, building communities and networks, we're always looking out for each other because of the fact that we are trained on being a business development extension for each other. So what we do is we meet on a weekly basis. We look for members and people that are selling to the same client, but then we also look for leaders to say, you know what, I want to create my own ecosystem. I want to develop my own chapter. And in doing so, they control their destiny. Why? Because they're guiding it through the spiderweb effect. They're teaching it through the spiderweb effect. And through that, they never have to worry about their next job, and nor do the individual members that we do. There's not a single meeting that we have where people should not walk away from an opportunity for an introduction.
Amazing. Oh, absolutely amazing. So, with that in mind, and how successful you guys are with those referrals, walk us through what the actual sales process looks like. So, I mean, are you handling these personally from initial contact with the client to signing them with the big wells? Do you have a sales team? How does that look overall?
Yeah, so it all starts with our membership, with our members. We train and develop them to understand that we're not inviting people to our community just for the purpose of inviting. We're inviting with intentionality. Again, have to have the 5 principles. If someone that fits those 5 principles, we invite them into come visit a chapter. They experienced our model with the perspective of understanding what our culture is about, what our intentions about. Once the individual then experiences, they have the ability to come visit us 2 times. And once they visit us twice, what they realize is they say, wow, you see a group of individuals that are committed to each other. They're actually creating business for each other. They've closed business. And those are just things that people want to be part of. At that point in time, they get our automation system basically provides them an email to invite them to the second day, the second meeting. With that, they have an option to opt in to apply for a membership. Once they've applied to membership, then what we end up doing is we get them in touch with our team. And then what we do is we set up a conversation about, what does this look like for you? Is this really the good fit? Once they apply, they go through our membership committee. Our membership committee sits down and we basically validate and verify all those 5 characteristics we talked about, but then they have a chance to interview us, because what we want to make sure is that the individuals understand what they're walking into, because it is a different methodology and a process than standard networking. We are not, and we actually look at networking as a whole, as a word, as a bad word. We change it to be very intentional on business development, training and business development, teaching by 2 principles: directive and direction. Why? Because the moment you give me a directive, that means you're telling me this is what I need you to do for me. Direction is, this is how you need to do it. And if you and I were to teach each other that, our ability to make effective business and collaboration and doing business together ends up being really transformational, simply because we don't have to wait 3, 6, 7, 8 a year to get business. We can get business and close business within a span of 30 to 45 days, which is
So,
what matters.
so I mean, so with the amount of success that you're seeing, Jason, I mean, can you point to a specific bottleneck to growth for Landing Big Wells right now, whether that be lead generation, converting inquiries into clients, delivering, at the scale with the team that you have? What does that look like that you can point to?
Yeah. So our scalability and growth is going to be dependent upon our individuals that can see becoming a chapter chair as something that they can integrate within their business model. Our scalability is based all around our chapter chairs, and we're focused on that. We're delivering on that. We have built our own ERP system from ground zero all the way up, catered to and designed to support all of our community members. That's our biggest focus right now, simply because without chapter chairs, we just don't have any scalability. We're confident in being able to attract the right people. The question is, and this is the same process that I think all businesses really actually have to consider. It's the human capital side. It's number one, can they see it for themselves? Number two, are they willing to consider another technology that is different from what they're accustomed to? And 3, will they trust the process?
Mm, absolutely. Absolutely. So talk to me about the priorities. I know that you just mentioned something a bit, but what is the main focus for you, Jason, for the next 6 to 12 months for Landing Big Wells, for scaling and for the growth? What's the focus there?
Yeah, right now we have several chapters that are up and running. Our mission is to basically get to another 7 to 9 individual chapters by the end of the next 12 months. And within those chapters is being able to launch our, not only are we have an app that is going to be launched within the next few weeks, and that app is going to give the ability for our members to not only promote themselves, integrate themselves, refer business, collect the data that they need to be able to know how to integrate themselves in the community. In addition to that, we are applying several AI technologies that are going to be revolutionary in the way that people actually communicate and create networking in events, on how they could talk to each other, how they follow up with each other, how to actually identify where there's opportunities. The integration of technology is critical. One of my favorite quotes that was provided to me probably about 18 years ago, and one that we apply within our community, is systematize everything that is predictable so that you can humanize everything that is exceptional. And so what we do is on a regular basis, our leadership team and our chapter leaders is we're always looking at the areas of repetition in our community, in our business. And by doing and identifying the areas of repetition, we're always searching out technologies that can automate it so that you and I, the human, can do what we really need to do, which is be in front of each other so that we can talk, we can create, we can experiment, we can invent. And that's what we do every day.
Amazing, amazing. So, I mean, out of curiosity here, Jason, if you had a genie, snapped your fingers, and had unlimited resources right now, what is something that you would implement immediately into landing big whales?
So I think it really boils down, I think it boils down to if I had a genie, I would say that instantaneously it would be the automation of technology for the AI so that our members are able to have conversations with their clients, with other members, with people that are outside of their members, in being able to capture the conversations so that they are able to identify perspectives of what they forgot to say, what they should have asked, things that they didn't even realize was possible because of the industries that are actually talking to each other. It's the empowerment of being able to make better decisions. Ultimately, as a leader in a business, a founder, someone who makes decisions, what makes the difference is the data. If I'm able to provide the data to the people that we work with so that they can make better decisions, so that it can influence the people they work with as well as the people they serve, that would be really what I would want tomorrow to happen.
Love it. I absolutely love that. So with that, I want to go into a bit of a lightning round here, Jason, to kind of round us out. I mean, just incredible what you're doing, and I'm definitely going to keep a close eye on you and follow closely because I know that you're doing some really big things in the space, and it's exciting to hear about. But on that front, what is a tool or a resource that you're utilizing right now? Maybe it's a strategy from your past ventures or a networking technique, but what's something that's just a game changer for landing big whales?
So I would have to bring it down to four things. Our technology stack. This world is revolved around technology, whether we like it or not.
Mhm.
And if people are not willing to embrace the possibility that technology is truly unlimited and your expectation of your limitations are subject to what you think is possible, I think number one is being able to be completely open of saying, put yourself back as a 5-year-old, 7-year-old, and then just dream. And then the question is aligning yourself with people that are willing to go the gamut of actually seeing if it's possible. So our technology is going to be hands down where we start. The ability to really create the things that are not possible because automation and or technology is the only limitation for that through imagination. That's number one. Number two is the ability for people to understand something that was taught to me years ago.
Hmm.
And it's a statement that says this: it is not about you, it's about
Hmm.
the person speaking. And understanding that when someone's speaking, especially if you have presence and you're focused on it, it is the opportunity to understand that with the next time they speak, it is important to them. They're creating something out of what they speak. And if they listen to it, you will learn so much about the individual, of the words behind the words, if you will, that you end up finding ways to help them, to guide them, to be a contribution to them. But then that statement also talks about the next time they write an email, next time they send a text, you have to think about they took time into creating that, but they also took time in pushing it out, which means that it's worthy and good enough for you to like it in social media, maybe comment on it, but more importantly, pushing it out, sharing it, because it's about you being of service to the people that you've allowed into your community to say, this doesn't apply to me, but if I hit a forward button, it gives them the ability to meet people that they didn't know before. And then here's the last one. It's really from the perspective of understanding that without vulnerability and being open to identifying the top 150 people through what we call the Dunbar theory, which is a theory that's out there through Mr. Dunbar, that indicates saying, look, every human being has a capacity to hold up 150 people in their life. regardless how you may think about it. The question is, if you take your mom and dad and put it aside, your brothers and sisters and you put them aside, and you ask the question, including spouses, by the way, and you ask the question, who is your number one person in your life? That is what some people may call it the ride or die person. Who would that be?
Mm.
And keep asking yourself the question, why? So who's number two? And you put the name down and you ask, why are they number two? Why aren't they number one? And keep going through that process up to 150. What you will find is you will find that you people in your community that you already have everything that you need, but you are lacking. And this is 9 out of 10 people. They lack the ability to ask for help.
Mm. Wow.
Because think about it. If your top 25 individuals in your life, if I were to ask you the question, would you be there for them if they called you? And you'd say what? Yeah, you would.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So the question is, why aren't you asking for them for help you when you
Right.
know you need it, especially in those tough moments? So taking the psychology and the fundamentals of business, applying of knowing that vulnerability, asking for help is not a weakness, it's actually a strength. It's actually how you build trust. Then it gives you the ability to say, hmm, well, maybe the next time that I need to look for this industry, the next time I need to look for that type of client, the next time that I need advice from someone, they may not know it, but they may know the person you need to talk to, but you would never know because you never asked.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, just hitting the nail on the head there. I mean, so to finish us off here, I mean, that was an amazing point there. Can you give us your take and your personal advice for our listeners right now, other founders, entrepreneurs that are listening in? What is something that you can offer them just starting out on their business journey?
I would start by asking and understanding the answer to the following question. What problem and or issue do you solve for the client that you serve?
Hmm.
9 out of 10 people that I ask that question to always go and always answer this with a solution. They don't listen. I didn't ask for the solution. Our society has trained us to say, well, this is what I saw for them. This is what I do for them. I didn't ask the question. The question was, what actual problem and issue do you solve? Because the moment you're able to understand that, then you know who actually you need to speak to and who actually is working with clients who actually solve that problem, who sees that problem on a regular basis. For example, let's say, so one of the companies I own is a insurance firm, right? So we
Mhm.
do commercial property casualty, we do life insurance. And so the problem and issue that we solve is we solve the process of being able to get home ownership, as an example, the ability to buy a home, whether it's first time home buyer. So we give people peace of mind of not worrying about if something were to happen, whether it be a fire, a flood, or a catastrophe. So if that's the problem and issue that we're solving, let's look at it from a perspective. Who currently is working with clients that are actively serving that? So for me, to make it very simple, is I'm working with realtors, I'm working with loan officers, with bankers, because when society says I want to buy a house, who do they go to? They go to a realtor, a mortgage broker, or a bank to give them the loan. And if I form relationships with them and show them how I can be the solution to something that they need because they can't get a loan without insurance, my job is to educate them on why I'm the solution, what I will provide, where I'm going to provide value, and how I can be integrated as an extension of their process so
Mm.
that it's seamless through the process so that the clients never have to worry about really doing anything.
Incredible. Well, with that, I mean, Jason, it's been an absolutely remarkable episode. So grateful for the insights that you shared. That does wrap up another episode here of Founders Future. Just want to thank you again, Jason. I'm absolutely going to continue to follow your journey. I know you're going to continue to do some incredible things. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, Don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also find more resources and insights at closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class marketing systems. Until then, keep climbing, and we'll see you on the next one. Awesome.